Recording in progress.
Okay. So yeah, I'm wondering if people are at on spring break this week because the school's off, and I know a lot of schools are on their spring break right now. So that's what I'm guessing everyone is. It was kind of funny today at the 9 o'clock mass. It was rather sparse.
I should have seen the 6:30.
I heard the 6:30 was late, yeah, too.
Less than
We're
half.
confused by the
Time.
time.
Yeah, well, that was kind of my charitable interpretation. I don't know how many were at the 11 or at the 5:30. But yeah, I imagine a lot of people might be on spring break too. So yeah, good. Let's just, there we go. Okay. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, we're here. So we'll start, as we said last week, with the Our Father. So Untitled et Filius Spiritus Sanctus. Amen. Pater noster, qui es in caelis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimittimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo.
Amen.
Pater Filius Spiritus Sanctus. Great, very good. All right, so tonight we're going to kind of add in some of the mass propers that we're talking about, and put that in the context of the common. So when I talk about the mass propers, what I'm talking is the introit, right, or the antiphon, entrance antiphon. Now this particular one had a gradual, which is usually done in place of the responsorial, right? But the responsorial probably something different, I would imagine, that night. Then we have the Alleluia, which you can say, just can't say it in liturgy. That's really the main thing. Everyone kind of gets freaked out about that. Can't say Alleluia during Lent. Yes, you can, just not in liturgy, right? So good. Offertory, which is the Ave Maria, Gratia Plena. We'll talk, so we'll pray that with the Holy Hail Mary tonight. Hopefully we get to that point. Communion antiphon, and that's really kind of, those are the best propers. Next week I'll actually have the collect, the prayer over the gifts, and the communion, prayer for communion, and we'll add that in too, so you guys can see what the words are for that and the translation. But tonight we'll at least get through the introit, and maybe get through the actual other antiphons. Okay, because we've already gotten through the mass. So good. Now we're just going to start adding this stuff in to kind of give feel of the overall liturgy for that particular day. Okay. So the introit starts, or the entrance antiphon is Rorate Caeli, De super et nubes pluant justum, Aperiatur terra et germinet salvatorum. So here's the thing. Then the response will be Caeli enerant gloriam Dei, et opera manum eius annuntiat firmamentum. And then Gloria Patri Filio Spiritus Sancto, sicut erat principio et nunc semper, in saecula saeculorum. Amen. And then we start over again, the people respond. Now, there's different ways you can do the antiphon, right? So either you have a cantor just chant this. And this also can be done over and over again during the entrance, right? So in other words, procession can actually be done just to the entrance antiphon that's repeated over and over again. But typically what we do here is we'll do the antiphon first, then the procession will start with a hymn. Now you can either break up this antiphon. So in other words, maybe a cantor would say this first part, and the response will be from the people, Caeli enerant gloriam Dei, et opera manum eius annuntiat firmamentum, Gloria Patri.
Yeah, well, that's the sound verse.
Right. So you can do it that way. Part of that will be discussed with Mary Beth, right? We'll figure out how to do that. And as a matter of fact, next week is our second planning meeting, so we can maybe discuss it. Or you can just do, the cantor does everything, and then the faithful repeat it. Typically what happened is we'll do that, at least we usually break it up here. And then we start with a hymn for the entrance, right? But again, we can talk to Mary Beth about that. But maybe just be good just walk through this slowly, right? So can everyone see that first? I'm going to blow it up at all.
Yes.
Okay. So let's just try that. Rorate celi de super, et nubes fluant justum, aperiatur terra et germinet salvatorum, celi enerant gloriam Dei, et opera manum eius annuntiat, firmamentum, gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto, sicut erat in principio, et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. So then there will be, usually that would happen and the response will happen by the people. Shall we try it one more time maybe? And I'll put, the Gloria Patri. I can't, actually, should I see here? I don't know if that's supposed to be the glory be, or that's just Gloria.
No, it's the old form.
Yeah, it is.
And that you do the whole Gloria.
Yeah,
the whole thing. And
but
then
I
you
think
repeat the antiphon.
here's the problem. I think though in the
New right, you don't
in the
have
right,
that.
I don't think they have the Gloria Patri.
No, because you can, because if you do the psalm verses in between the antiphons, you can end with the Gloria.
Right.
Patri.
Yeah, exactly. And in the extraordinary form, that's how you would. And I don't know if he was trying to do the extraordinary form of this or not. Yeah. Okay. So in the missal, it just stops at
Salvatorum.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, that's the antiphon as such, and
Right.
then the psalm, the Gloria Patri, and then you repeat the antiphon.
Right.
Which is the old form.
Right. Well, here maybe we'll just do. Let's just do up to Salvatorum then, because I think that's probably what we're going to actually do that day. Yeah. Or we could maybe break that up. So in other words, the cantor would start Orate celi de super et nubes fluant justum, and then everyone else say aperiatur terra et germinet salvatorum. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to go through the rest of it too. So let's just do it one more time, the whole thing, right? Rorate celi de super et nubes fluant justum, aperiatur terra et germinet salvatorum, celi enerant gloriam Dei, et opera manum eius annuntiat, firmamentum, gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto, sicut erat in principio, et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. And even the Gloria Patri be broken up too, because simply the Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritus Sancto be said by the priest or by the cantor, and then the sicut erat in principio, et nunc et semper, and in saecula saeculorum be repeated by the faithful. So there's different ways you can break that up. All right, so we'll have the entrance antiphon, in which case then we'll usually have a hymn, probably, I would imagine. We get that clarified from Mary Beth as well. And so then we would go straight into the mass parts that we've been practicing the last few weeks. So we always start then, in nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Dominus vobiscum.
Et nos tuo.
Fratres agnoscamus peccata nostra, ut apticimus ad mysteria celebranda. Confitior Deo omnipotente et vobis fratres, quia peccavi nibis cogitatione, verbo opere et omissione, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Ideo precor beata Mariam semper virginum. Omnes angelos et sanctos, et vos fratres orare pro me ad Dominum Deum nostrum. What's funny, I was actually reading over the extraordinary form for this, and actually there's a little bit different, a little longer. They also had like the saints like Peter and Paul, and John the Baptist. So it's kind of interesting to see. Right. All right. Miseriator nostri omnipotens Deus et dimissis peccatis nostris perducat nos ad vitam aeternam.
Amen.
Kyrie eleison.
Kyrie eleison.
Christe eleison.
Christe eleison.
Kyrie eleison.
Kyrie eleison.
Gloria in excelsis Deo,
Et
in terra pax hominibus, bone voluntatis, laudamus te, benedicimus te, adoramus te, glorificamus te, gratias agimus tibi, propter magnam gloriam tuam. Domine Deus, Rex Celestis, Deus Pater omnipotens, Domine Filii unigenite, Iesu Christe, Domine Deus, Agnus Dei, Filius Patris, qui tollis peccata mundi, miserere nobis, qui tollis peccata mundi, suscipe deprecationem nostram, qui sedes ad dexteram Patris, miserere nobis, quoniam tu solus sanctus, tu solus Dominus, tu solus Altissimus, Iesu Christe, cum Sanctu Spiritu, in gloria Dei Patris. Amen. Then we also have the chant here. Let's read that. Then Oremus, Deus in secula seculorum.
Amen.
There's the reader. So, and then the first reading, which we'll talk about that next week too, which reads you're going to probably look at. The reader will then say, Verbum Domini.
Deo gratias.
Then we have the, we can look at the gradual, but they'll actually have the responsory. So here they have the gradual as Tolite portas principiis vestras et elevemini porte aeternalis et introibit rex gloriae quis ascendet in montem Domini aut quis stabit in loco sancto eus innocens maribus et mundo corde. So that's translated, open wide your gates, you princes, principes, vestras, and be raised up, elevamini, so elevate, right? You ancient doors, porte is door, eternalis, eternal doors. That's funny. And the King of Glory, introviet rex glory, introviet will enter, shall enter. And then the response, who shall ascend climb montem mountain, Domini of the Lord, right? Or who shall stand and stabit in his holy place of sancto locos lucus, location, right? Innocens, the clean or innocent hands, and pure corde heart, right? Right. So again, we may do that. We may just do a psalm, which you do as the usual mass. So there'll be the cantor will sing one, then we'll have the verses in response with the responsory. So we'll talk about that too as we go forward. But just know that's what that would be. All right. So then we have the blessing by the deacon, where the priest has those blessings. So he says it himself. So if it's just me, Munda cor meum ac labia mea, uniculos Deus et sanctum evangelium cum digne velium cum tiare. So that's my heart, my lips, mighty God. Let me worthy to proclaim your holy gospel. And so when the priest gets to the elbow, Dominus vobiscum,
Et cum spiritu tuo,
Lectio Sancti Evangelii secundum Lucas.
gloria tibi Domine.
At the end of the gospel, Verbum Domini,
Laus tibi Christe.
and then the priest will bless the book and say, Pro Evangelica Dicta Deliantur Nostra Delicta. So where's the gospel of sins be wiped away? So we have the homily, and then possibly creed, if we get that. Credo in unum Deum, Patrum omnipotentem, Factorum Celi et terra, visibilium omnium et invisibilium, et in unum Dominum Iesum Christum, Filium Dei unigenitum, et ex Patre natum ante omnia saecula, Deum de Deo, lumen de lumine, Deum verum de Deo vero, genitum non factum consubstantialia patri, per quem omnia facta sunt, qui propter nos homines et propter nostrum salutem descendis de seditium. In incarnatus est de Spiritus Sancto, ex Maria Virgine, et homo factus est. And so he would bow during this moment, right?
Right.
Crucifixus etiam pro nobis sub Pontio Pilato passus, et sepultus est, et resurrexit tertia die secundum scripturas, et ascendit in caelum, sedet et dexteram Patris, et iterum venturus est cum gloria judicare vivos et mortuos, cuius regni non erit finis, et in spiritum sanctum, Dominum et vivitantem, qui ex Patre filioque procetit, qui cum Patre et Filios simul adorator et conglorificator, qui locutus est per potestas, et unum sanctum catholicam et apostolicam ecclesiam, confitior unum baptisma in remissionem peccatorum, et expecto resurrectionem mortuorum, et vitam venturi seculi. Amen. So then we'll have the particular, we might chant this, maybe not, we'll talk about that too. Then have the universal prayers, Ex Audi Domini. Yeah, okay. Then we have the Offertory. So the priest will start. Benedictus est Domini Deus universae, qui de tua largitate et cepimus panum, quem tibi offerimus, fructum terrae et operis manum omnium, ex quo nobis fiat panis vitae.
Benedictus Deus in saecula.
Per, so the pours water and wine, per huius aquae et vini mysterium eos efficimiamur, divinitatis consortes divinitatis nostrae, fieri dignatus est particeps. Benedictus est Domini Deus universae, qui de tua largitate cepimus vinum, quid tibi offerimus fructum vitis et operis manum omnium, ex quo nobis fiat potus spiritualis.
Benedictus Deus in saecula.
In spiritu vivitatis et in animo contrito susciamur a te Domine, et sic fiat sacrificium nostrum in conspectu tu hodie, ut placia tibi Dominus Deus. Lave me Domini ab iniquitate mea et peccato mea mundum. So this is all in silence. He bows at the altar and says this quick prayer, then he washes his hands. Oratre fratres ut meum ec vestrum sacrificium acceptibile fiat apud Deum Patrum omnipotentem.
Suscipia Dominus sacrificium de manibus suis, ad laudem et gloriam nominis sui, ad utilitatem quoque nostrum totiosque ecclesiae suae sanctae.
And the priest will hand extended, so the prayer of the offerings, in Christe Domine, Amen. And then we start the Eucharistic prayer. So Dominus vobiscum,
Et cum spiritu tuo,
Sersum corda,
habemus ad Domino,
gratias agamus Domini Deo nostro.
dignum et justum est.
Then we have the preface, and then which after the preface we then have the Sanctus. So let's go ahead and chant that since we're doing that already for Lent, right? So Sanctus, Sanctus, Sanctus Dominus Deus Sabaoth, pleni sunt caeli et terra, gloria tua, Hosanna in excelsis, benedictus qui venit in nomine Domini, Hosanna in excelsis. So we have the first Eucharistic prayer, Te Agitur, Living Testament, Christum. Then we get all the way down to the actual words of institution. Accipite et manducate ex hoc omnes, hoc est enim corpus meum, quid pro vobis traditor. And then we do the cup. Accipite et bibite ex eo omnes, hic est enim calix sanguinis mei, novi et aeterni testamenti, qui pro vobis et pro multis effunditor in remissionem peccatorum, Hoc facite in meum memorationem. Then we have the Mysterium Fidei, mortem tuam, annunciamus Domine, et tuam resurrectionem confitemus, done venias. So that's we proclaim your death, O Lord, and confess your resurrection until you come again. That's one of the three. We could do the other two, but probably for Advent, that'd be actually proper for that particular season, right? Then we have the rest of Eucharist Prayer 1, as you can see here. Then we end with per ipsum et cum ipso et in ipso est tibi Deo Patri omnipotente in unitatis Spiritus Sancti, omnis honor et gloria per omnia saecula saeculorum.
Amen.
Then we have the between, right? So we already practiced this, so it should know what this is by now, right? Preceptis salutaribus monte et divina institutione formati audimus dicere. Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimittimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo. And so here's kind of the chant form. So, Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimittimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo. Libera nos quosimus Domini ad omnibus malis, da propritus pacem in diebus nostris, ut ope misericordiae tuae adviti, et a peccato simus semper liberi, et ab omni perturbatione securi, expectantes beatum spem et eventum salvatoris nostri Iesu Christi.
Viatum est regnum et potestas et gloria in saecula.
Domini Iesu Christe, quid dicisti apostolis tuis, pacem relinquo vobis, pacem meam do vobis, ne respectias peccata nostra, sed finem ecclesiae tuae, amque secundum voluntatem tuum pacificare et coadunare dineris, qui vivis et regnas in saecula saeculorum.
Amen.
Pax Domini sit semper vobiscum.
Et cum spiritu tuo.
Offerte vobis pacem. So peace each other, right? So the priest will pour a brimful of peace off the host, puts it in the chalice, saying, Hac commixtio corporis et sanguinis, Domini nostri Iesu Christi, fiat excipentibus nobis in vitam aeternum. Then we have the Agnus Dei. So why don't we go ahead and chant that too? Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi, miserere nobis. Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi, miserere nobis. Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi, dona nobis pacem. So then the priest will say one of these two prayers in silence, genuflect and show the host. Ecce Agnus Dei, ecce qui tolli peccata mundi, beata qui ad caelum agni vocate sunt. Domine non sum dignus ut entre sub tectum meo, sed tantum vic verbo et salvator anima mea. Then Corpus Christi custodiat me in vitam aeternum, may it consume the host. Sanguis Christi custodiat me in vitam aeternum, receive the chalice. Then, of course, we will distribute Corpus Christi or Sanguis Christi.
Amen.
Amen. Then the priest or deacon will purify the chalice, quod or sumpsimus Domini puramente cambiamos et de munere temporali fiat nobis remedium subternum. Amen. Prayer for communion, simply oremus, so then amen.
Amen.
And then we have the dismissal. So Dominus vobiscum,
Et cum spiritus tuo,
benedicat vos omnipotent Deus, Pater et Filius et Spiritus Sanctus.
Amen.
Ite missa est.
Deo gratias.
Then we'll have our session with them afterwards. So good, great. Any questions about that? So as you can see here, usually the Alleluia verse is actually the Ave Maria. So maybe it might be good just to kind of walk through that really quick. We prayed before one of the last sessions, maybe 2 or 3 sessions ago, but just so we can know. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta vos. Sorry, I got screwed up on that. Benedicta tu mulieribus et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Right. Good. And that's just, Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu mulieribus et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. So that's just the Hail Mary. The beginning of the Hail Mary, right? So the second part is Santa Maria Mater Dei, or pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc in hora mortis nostrae. Good. We'll talk about the communion hymn next time, I think. And we want to get the other readings. We'll get that going pretty well. Any questions then about anything we've covered so far? Anything about pronunciation or translation?
I just have a lot to practice.
Yeah, I mean, you all do, right? So I mean, that's why we're doing this every week.
I mean,
yeah.
whoa. Yeah. I can remember Ecum Spiritu Tuo when I was a kid,
Hey,
and that's about it.
but you're probably ahead of the game than most people today, though, which is great. I think it's funny. Like when I was doing that a little while back, the earlier masses, most people knew what to say. But you get to 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, you're like, I don't know. Oh, great. What are you saying? What kind of language you're pulling out of your father? So
Father Locke would occasionally, I think, he was here about a dozen years ago, I think. And he would always have us sing the Agnus Dei, for example.
Oh, great, yeah.
And then he would throw other things in, like Easter Sunday, all of a sudden he said, he sung Ite Missa Est.
Which actually is kind of beautiful, right? When you see it, like Latin, especially with the Alleluia part that's added to, right? Yeah. So, the tones are beautiful for Easter with that stuff, right? So maybe I don't know if we get to that point, maybe we can break that out at some point. But it's kind of what's interesting. I think is that you guys probably know it already. I mean, we already do like Lent. We're doing the Sanctus. We're already doing the Agnus Dei. That's really the biggest part, There's some of the stuff you don't usually do, like especially some of the prayers of the communion, right? But that'll come with time. That's why we're doing this every week, so we'll kind of get that flow. But yeah, practice on your own too, right? So the more you practice, the better it's going to be. So great. And if anyone else is interested, let them know about this too. We kind of have that Flock Note group, which is just the people that were interested in kind of preparing for the Mass. But if anyone else is out there, I tell people all the time, like, hey, we have this Latin class on Sunday, so they can always Zoom in or whatever. So the more the merrier.
And you'll be Zooming again, correct?
It's still, I am now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I know we're going to be gone next Sunday, but I don't know. We're going to be out in Colorado, so I don't know what we're doing at 6 o'clock.
Well,
we'll be going to Mass.
And also,
Mass
but also
at 5.
I'm putting these on the YouTube and the Facebook channel too every night.
Okay.
So these are all up there still, right?
Okay.
So if there's any, at this point, we've already gotten through really the hardest parts, I think, right?
Colorado, maybe an hour behind.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're on daylight savings.
I'll be all confused.
No, they're daylight, if they are not on daylight savings, they're 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, was it Indiana and Arizona?
Yes.
I know.
So it's kind of
there are some other places too.
Well, that was a big debate whether we all should be on it or all off it too. So I don't know, maybe it served its purpose. All right,
Okay.
well, that's all I got for you tonight, so we'll go ahead and,
Okay.
cut it there. We'll see everyone next week. So next week we have our second planning meeting, so anyone that's involved with that,
4 o'clock.
that's be at 4 o'clock. Then
Okay.
we'll have vespers at 5 and then mass, and then we'll come back here for, the Latin. So 7, yeah, so, that'll be next week. And we'll talk about next week, the planning meeting, the readings.
Then you have to remember that the third Sunday in April will be Easter. So.
Yes, I think we'll probably take a break for that day.
Um,
Yeah, so we will probably do the planning meeting, maybe the 4th or the 2nd Sunday that week, just to kind of keep that practice. But yeah, so I'll make that announcement next week, the planning meeting too. So we'll see everyone next week, if not sooner, and have a good time.
Okay, I do have a question. I'm not real